I just ask a cultural point? I mean, was it your sense, because we've discussed about culture, that these sort of payments beyond contractual terms, in essence, were sweeteners to BBC staff? Was that how you saw it?
We were trying to, and in the event, took out in a 3-year period 195 senior people. Each one of those conversations was difficult with people who'd been at the BBC a long, long time and very often did not want to leave their jobs.
Sure, but was it, no, so, Chair, just on this point.
Was it difficult for the
issue around redundancy? If you let me finish the question.
I just really have to say this attitude that the top cadre of people at the BBC face greater difficulty when they get redundancy rather than a receptionist or somebody working low down. I'm not suggesting that. It's offensive.
I am not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is that you're weighing up the issues around risk of litigation, duty of care to the individual. You're weighing up the disruption to the business if the individual leaves with it in an unamicable way. And when you look at the total amount spent on severance, 8% of that was spent above contractual.
Sure, no, there's a separate. My question was very, Ms. Adams. My question was very. Indeed, we've been through those arguments. My question was very specific. Did you suggest to HR colleagues that this is a cultural point? Did you suggest to HR colleagues that these sort of payments should be viewed by them as sweeteners?
As sweeteners. I think that's a strange term. I think it's what we're talking about is enabling people to leave the business in a way that minimises disruption, that avoids legal risk. As a shorthand term, possibly, but I don't recollect that.
Sorry, if it's a strange term, is it your evidence you wouldn't have viewed? I'm talking about the culture and the lead. You were head of HR. We've talked about the fact that authority was delegated. We talked about the fact that payments were made beyond what was legally required. And I find it very odd that HR professionals were not intervening. We're not saying we shouldn't be paying beyond what we have to. And what I want to understand is, were you giving an instruction? You say it's a strange term, but were you giving an instruction to your HR staff to say they should be lax about this because they should view it as sweeteners?
Certainly not lax. What we were trying to do was to get people out of the door, to minimise disruption, to reduce the risk of litigation. And in some instances, in 8% of the cost, in 1.9 million against a £20 million saving, it was the case that we would go above contractual entitlement.
So you would deny giving that sort of steer to HR staff?
What I would be saying to my staff is that we need to be getting individuals, we need to move the senior management population down.
Did you use the word sweetener? Did you use that? Did you use the word sweetener?
I can't honestly recall using the word sweetener. I think this is HR professionals all over the world recognise that occasionally you have to pay above contractual entitlement.
Well, in an email, you did exactly that. You said, can I get a sense of the scale of the sweetener? And it seems that's another document you're forgetful of writing. You couldn't remember the 7th October email. And it does give a sense that the cultural lead...
Please, Mr. Barclay.
I'm very happy to share it with the CNAG in order that he can verify the document. I would have thought that would be satisfactory. It's a leaked document, so I cannot share it with you, but I'm very happy to share it with the Controller in Auditor General. So could I just